Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3. Hello and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast. I'm stranded here on this planet in this very fashionable uniform. Some would say the most fashionable. I'll let you decide which uniform it is, our gentle listeners. But I'm also stranded
Darren,
here
you're not
with
wearing
my
any clothes.
fellow mutant. Look, it's like this is totally an emperor's podcaster's new cloak.
Daniel, I think Darren's uniform is awesome, and only smart people can see it. And I think it really is befitting.
I just don't think
It's
a birthday
not
suit
no
counts
clothes.
as a uniform.
It's cloaked, okay? It's the newest thing.
In Romulan chic fashion.
Oh, dear Lord. The power draw is incredible. I got maybe 5 minutes tops on this thing.
If you wear a cloaked uniform in a forest and no one is around to see it, does it really matter? I don't know.
Is it actually transparent? Nobody knows. Well, I'm also joined by fashion consultant to the stars, Daniel Prue.
Star Trek joke.
All the stars. All of them. Every single one. Except one. But I won't tell you who. But I think you can tell.
Take that, Alpha Centauri.
Such a prima donna. And also joined by Philip Gilfus.
Oh.
Who is my best friend because he can actually see my clothes.
That's right. I actually have my uniform model that I'm working with here. I've fashioned together a little thing that I can actually sew uniforms onto. So I'm going to make a whole series of little homemade uniformed things.
Wait, you made that?
Well,
For those of you who can't see our podcast, he's holding a toy bear with a little TNG uniform.
Well, this is Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh Lord!
Nice.
Yeah.
But wait, hang on. Did you make that? You didn't answer the question.
No. Actually, I got this in Vegas, I believe.
Oh, I was going to say.
Years and decades ago at this point, sadly.
Why don't they have Build-A-Bear Star Trek?
I'm sure they do somewhere. But...
They have Build-A-Bear Star Wars.
Well, Daniel.
That's why.
Daniel, I don't know how to break this to you. The Star Wars and Star Trek marketing franchise is very different.
Yes, as in one is existent and the other is not.
One is everywhere and the other is not. Yeah.
I was at was it Walmart, because that's what I live close to, unfortunately. But I was at Walmart in the toy section because of course. But they for the the car section, they have like 1 million JJ Enterprises on the shelves, like of the Micro Machine might be the wrong word, but basically that's
like the Matchbox.
Yeah, Matchbox.
Yeah.
But they have like 1 million of them, like just like a whole thing full of JJs, and then like
peg warmers.
Yeah, really. So if anybody wants any, they're at Walmart, and begging to be bought. I did buy one like last year, but I was like, oh okay, I'll grab, because it was sort of on like the end cap, where just like there's like 3 of them. But no, like the whole aisle of Star Trek is just JJ.
Someone found a box that had been
Enterprise.
misfiled deep in the storage area.
But it's also
like,
right
dear
next
Lord.
to like the ridiculous Matchbox cars that exist only in I Want to Sell Stuff. It's like the Jim Kirk van with his face on the van.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't remember that in Star Trek.
That was from season 4.
Oh well, it wasn't an animated. I didn't see
It
that.
went a little low budget. Things got a little worse for wear.
Was it when they were going around solving mysteries?
That was the crossover episode with Scooby Doo, and didn't go so hot. So
You know what? I'm almost surprised animated series didn't end up in Scooby Doo. They had like Gilligan's Island, they had the Harlem Globetrotters. Why not have Star Trek in there? Batman. They had Batman and Robin in Scooby Doo.
was the animated
Missed opportunity.
Oh well, no, I guess it was probably right around the same time, right?
Scooby-Doo's been running for a long time,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't be surprised if there was at least a crossover in the time, if not the actual characters.
So, IDW Comics, you're looking for ideas. Scooby Doo Star Trek, free idea.
Well,
there might be other better ideas.
I don't
we're just saying,
look,
but
if they went, and I'm not meaning to make fun of Green Lantern, but like as an idea, Green Lantern, Star Trek, like that wasn't necessarily obvious. So I'm like,
that's the dual dartboard idea. Okay,
Yes.
Star Trek and
it makes sense.
Green Lantern.
It makes sense. If you have a human going into space in this universe, he's a cosmic superhero and like literally interacts with all of these different species. And then Star Trek also takes place with humanity in space interacting with it makes sense. It's not my first choice.
so
but
Transformers, Star Trek.
I don't begrudge that would also technically work. Again, you just make it an alternate.
The Jetsons.
I don't think
Star Trek.
I don't think Cybertron is getting Federation membership, guys. I'm just
I don't think so.
I don't see it happening.
I don't. When does the Jetsons? Doesn't the Jetsons take place like way further in the future than Star Trek does? I think. I could be way wrong, but I just remember
Like
it being like
3001
4
or
bazillion
something.
years in the future or something.
Do
like
do
that,
do 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 to boldly go where no one has gone before. Do 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 do.
Yeah. Set in 2062.
Oh my god, not even close. Okay.
That was
it's
our
set
idea of the
in-
future.
Yeah, so it's set 100 years from 1962. So we're like getting so it's actually the year before First Contact. So
Well, it makes sense because obviously there was an apocalypse on the ground. That's why all the cities and everything are in the sky,
Right.
to avoid the what's the down below. And I
Fallout.
believe by then they'll have car suitcase technology.
Maybe not. Maybe not so much.
maybe not. Well, today on City Alpha 3, we are going to be continuing our previous discussion that we had back in episode 32, Red, Blue, and Green, when we were talking about Starfleet uniforms. We got through Enterprise and the JJ verse and the motion picture and the classic TOS. So we got through, but this is such a good topic that Daniel started, and we didn't want to rush it because we're not Russian. So we are going to be picking that up in TNG. We're going to start with the season 1 and 2 jumpsuit. So we were last talking about the Monster Maroons, and Daniel wasn't a super fan. He didn't say they were bad. He just wasn't his cup of Earl Grey. But sorry, I can't say that contractual obligation.
It's a non-compete
but-
clause. At this point.
But season 1 and 2 TNG, the biggest thing is we have the swap of command going from gold, green to red, and yeah, which I'm pretty sure it's a standard knowledge at this point that Patrick Stewart just didn't look good in gold as well, or maybe it was Data or someone didn't look as good, and so they made the swap and forever confused the red shirts joke for all the time. But what did you guys think of TNG? We got the scant, we got the jumpsuit, we got the little bit of pinstriping on the shoulders, and no collars because we're lounging in our super recliner bridge to the stars.
Well, it's sort of the retro look, right? You go from this very stolid, militaristic, 8 million layers, and I know, retroactively in the world timeline, the Monster Maroon starts to deconstruct itself. You lose the undershirt, you lose the belt, you lose this. But anyway, then you go back to the spandex pajamas.
Yeah, no belt.
Yeah.
No, not even 2 pieces.
Right. And so apparently that they started to need some. You know what it was? They kept their ships cold, but by the 24th century, the technology had advanced in the opposite direction, and they needed moisture wicking uniforms. So that's where we went.
They had seat warmers at that point. I
Yeah.
think is what they developed. So
Well, that carpet really absorbs a lot of.
for sure.
And so, one thing I obviously I like the collar uniform better, probably because nostalgia. That's what you were with the most. That's what I associate the most. So it's, you see the no collars, you're like, oh, is this going to be a good episode?
also the quality of the
Yeah.
shows.
But
True.
I don't know. That'd be kind of a nice uniform to have in the closet for cosplaying. The only thing I worry about as a, well, I was going to say as a man, multiple things as a man wearing that uniform. But the most one, the easy.
How many dance belts do you own, Philip?
The most easily discussable problem would actually be the collar or the open neck, because I have a little bit of hair in that area, and so it'd be kind of odd looking for me. I'd have to shave the near my neck in order to wear that open it's a little weird looking for me. And then I know it's a little tight in some areas, and so but hey, look, the women have been wearing mini skirts for so I can't really complain. But
what are your thoughts on the TNG beginnings as we're seeing all these changes? There's a Klingon on the bridge with a giant
sash.
Sachet.
I mean, he has a lot of merit badges that he could earn, but he's only earned one.
Well, this is before he earns his platinum sash, because this is just his gold sash.
That's true.
I like it. I was just trying to think in my head about why, if I could canonically fit a reason why they switched gold to red. And I'm like, well, why would TNG do that? Or what happened between TNG and the Monster Maroons? And then I'm thinking, no, it actually we could blame it on not blame it, but we could say that it was TOS is doing. When they decided to switch from the multicolor to the Monster Maroons, they then made that color the most important color, or the most respected color. And at that point, once they decided to switch to different division colors
so it's red and other, as it were.
Yeah, so red became the most important, which equals to red equals command.
Yeah, so that makes sense. That actually kind of works. I don't know if that's ever been explained in a novel or anything like that. Certainly hasn't on screen as far as I'm aware, but I'm now using that as headcanon. But anyways,
that makes sense though.
I like the pinstriping. I don't know how it would have looked on the collared uniforms. I kind of wish it was still there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of it. It just had a little flare on the shoulders. But obviously, I think that the next uniforms we'll talk about are a little more superior. But I do like the scants. I like the idea of the scants. There's this kind of super casual. This is casual Friday wear in my mind, for everybody. And it's it's gender neutral. Doesn't matter. Everybody can wear it. In fact, I don't know that we ever saw a woman wearing it. I'm sure we did. We did.
Yeah, Troy.
It'd be a little something called
that's
Encounter
right.
at
Troy
Farpoint.
In Farpoint. That's right. You're absolutely right. I forgot she wore a uniform.
That's when she was wearing. The only time she wore an actual uniform was a scant. So it kind of went both ways.
Yeah, but I thought that was a super cool idea. Even the super long, and they kind of kept this practice anyways going into the future. I don't know how much we're going to talk about dress uniforms, but the super long dress uniforms I thought were super cool. That were introduced in this as well.
And the hemline for the dress uniform actually did go up and down throughout the series. It was super down. It was
in the beginning it was
Victorian,
around their ankles.
Hemline for the dress uniform. It was literally a dress. It's almost like a dress cloak. I just feel like he just has a wraparound and dressed uniformed up.
Well, because you have the kind of like the Monster Maroon, where it has the panel that seals, and then the pips are moved from the collar to the shoulder, which it's very tactful. But again, we like I just said, we this is the first time we get the pips, and we can finally have a very small area that we can tell what a rank is very quickly. I still can't tell the difference between commanders and lieutenant commanders, but
do you guys prefer the striping or the pips?
I mean, Pip, of course, it's again, that's the series, and that's the reason why, and is it really the reason? But I just think, like you said, it's the most easily you can see.
Right.
I mean, I
never learned the striping for what it was in TOS. And it was kind of hard to tell at a glance.
Right, because for TOS, my problem with the rank, I mean, I do like the sleeve insignia, because, I mean, once you know what it is, I think you know it. But my problem is, ensign is no rank, right? Well, what's crewman? No rank. Well, then what's the difference? How you can spot the difference between an ensign and a crewman? You can't.
It's their shoes.
I guess.
They have better shoes if you're an ensign,
The shoes.
But no, I like the Pips. I mean, as a group, I thought Motown at that point was. Oh, you were talking about uniforms.
What about Pips versus Combadge? Combadge rank identification that we get in the alternate.
Oh
future.
yeah, I've always liked those because it made it even clearer because they were right there on their comm badge. But I'd say they're almost interchangeable.
Yeah,
but,
they are. I was just bringing it up.
Well,
yeah, the only thing we have beneath, and then I also like how we get the admirals with like the rectangle around it, like 2, 3, or 4 pips. So that was kind of an interesting look. It was it was consistent. It worked really well.
It was, but I think that the admirals we saw in TNG and maybe in all of Star Trek, as far as the 24th century, kind of suffer from TV generals. Like, all TV generals have 1 million medals on their chest, and they all have a stars, which is not real life at all. Like, no one has that many medals. But the same thing with the admirals in Starfleet. You never see the 1 pip rear admiral, right? You never see that.
No,
it's always like the 4 pip or maybe even the 3 pip. Like,
listen, we're on the flagship. We don't deal with any 1 pip admirals here, okay? Only the top brass or the guys that really want to live forever.
There's just a lot of 4 stars or whatever you call the naval stars, walking around.
Yeah.
What was Janeway? How many pips did she have when in first?
Too many in Nemesis. It was not 1, because you would think captain to rear admiral lower half you'd get a 1 admiral pip, but she had I don't know off the top of my head, but it was 2 to 3.
I guess she was cashing in all of her overtime, and they were just like, "I will skip a few."
And she used some of Harry Kim's promotion credits for herself. So
she cashed them all in. That's why she's been saving them up.
That's great.
I feed off your youth.
Now, as we've mentioned, obviously, in season 3 we got the collar, we got the 2-piece. Later we would get the captain's jacket, and we'd get Ensign Rowe with the undershirt. So you'd see all sorts of different kind of variations.
Guys, we're totally missing the acting ensign uniform. I think.
Oh boy,
true.
The rainbow,
because he's in all divisions.
Or the gray suit, whatever you want to call it.
The gray suit wasn't too bad.
Was it because even his comm badge was gray?
It was gray.
He didn't get the full color.
I thought that was super cool. Like he was in monochrome or black and white or something.
Yeah.
I did kind of like that. I wish they kept that during the what's the one with Tom Paris?
Starfleet.
Yeah.
First duty.
I wish all cadets had that. It was just
you'll get a colored comm badge on graduation.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been a really cool way to distinguish between super low, people who aren't officially ranked yet and the people that are in training. I thought that was a really neat idea, and they didn't go anywhere with it, because then it just feels like Wesley gets these custom tailor designed uniforms for him,
right,
and we never ever see them again. And I'm like, well, why couldn't that be part of a system or something like that?
Yeah.
And like you said, we get to see what cadets look like in first duty,
and that's the beginning of the next uniform that we'll talk about, I'm sure. But
yes. So that those. I mean, I think again we've all talked how we are big TNG fans, and I know it's not my favorite uniform overall, but it is a well thought out. It's like when they kind of started really thinking about how it all came together. Not that TOS or other ones didn't, but I think you could tell they put a lot of thought into the ranking situation and the color schemes, and we also kind of got a little bit of the different green and green blue for medical versus science.
Well, a little more. It started the scale. It started to fall down the scale a little bit. Yeah.
Well, and we can talk about the science medical, but to me,
can they just pick a Pantone and just stick?
No, they need to split it. So there's blue and green. There's no reason why not to do both.
True,
but to me, there's also the yellow. I mean, I'm using it as a general color term. Is also different because there's sometimes it's like a mustard, and sometimes it's a bright. So like I can't tell if they're trying to differentiate between security and engineering and operations, or whether they just have a spectrum of yellow uniforms and they're just
I think they should
grab bagging.
I've mentioned this before, but I think that they should have split things. Like, okay, so greenish for medical or science or whatever,
Teal.
or vice versa,
Yeah.
and then more of a blue, like of a deep bluish. That way, they're still part of the same division. They're part of the sciences, but
It's a spectrum of science.
They are visually distinguished from each other, and it makes sense. In the same way that you could do the same thing with gold, like more of a darker gold for security, and then maybe a lighter gold for operations, and that would it would just be nobody would care but us, and everybody would be like, oh, they're just wearing slightly different colored uniforms. I don't know. Just to me, it's always been super easy fix to this, especially for this medical science thing, because I just feel like the green a lot.
There are on Facebook obviously always customizes stuff to your stuff, but I will see a lot of times, and whether it's an ad or whatever, like it's crayons from like Broadway shows, so it'll be like the Hamiltons, or like some other Broadway shows, so each color is like named after a song or something. But I'm like, this is Crayola Star Trek. It could be like Command red, and then like Science teal, and Medical royal purple, or I feel like there's a box of coloring in all of this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now color is starting to drain away, guys.
This is the Darren. This is the Moser color spectrum theory.
First, we had the whole shirt in TOS, and then we had like the big patch on the chest. Now it's just it's shirt, chest and shoulders, Yeah. Anyway.
Well, it's the black. It's the nothing black slowly.
Yeah, the nothing is taking over.
Oh my god!
It starts on the
Fantasia.
sides in TNG, and now is slowly gathering about.
So I'm picturing now the designer for Federation Uniforms has an accord with the nothing. They're a servant of it. No. Anyway, so we get the shoulders now in Deep Space Nine, the jumpsuit. And again, we just get the red and blue
/ Voyager / Generations.
Well, we'll get there. Yeah. So we had Generations but Deep Space Nine obviously started before that, and we have which I always liked the theory of when they were on the station, like station personnel had the jumpsuits with the shoulders, and then Starfleet crew still had, because Starship crew still had the colored on the chest, because I think it was a great dichotomy where you had Sisko starting off in his normal uniform and then later getting into the jumpsuit, and then there's scenes at the end of the episode where he's meeting with Picard and they have the different uniforms, and I really liked that. But again, that'll eventually go away with Voyager. But what did you all think of this? We got to change uniform again, but it was not too bad of a change in my opinion.
And this evolved for me. I think this is my second favorite uniform, and that surprises me because because actually this uniform is the most ubiquitous uniform in all of Star Trek. It is the most seen ever in Star Trek. I mean,
because of Voyager,
mostly because of Voyager, but a lot of Deep Space, or slightly half of Deep Space Nine, and plus Voyager. But yeah, you're right. And then we see it in speckles of Generations, and so. But as a concept, I like it because I like the blue undershirt, or whatever you call that.
I'd say it's more of like a purple teal.
Well, I was talking about what you call it.
Purple. It
is this is one of those. I think this goes back to our command green we were talking about.
Come on, Pantone, get with it.
Well, I think
help us out.
There's a color of the actual material, and then there's a screen color watching it on TV. Yeah. So I don't know which one's which.
Is this like the dress that was popular about a year ago or so? Or is it blue and white or gray and whatever?
Because there's sometimes it looks
black and
like
blue or gold and white.
It looks like a nice blue. Other times it's a nice purple. Sometimes it's almost a gray.
Yeah.
So, but Dickie, I think that's what I was when you're kind of doing the cosplay uniform. But anyway, I kind of like it. I like the little splash of color. I mean, you would think I would like the classic TNG, and I do, but as like what hangs in my closet right now is a classic TNG But then the other ones is I call it the Voyager, but we can call it Deep Space Nine, jumpsuit. Now I don't have it would be cool to have an actual jumpsuit, like the whole pants tops together. But I really like this one. I mean, it's very simple. Obviously, and then you sort of have the personality, right? Every uniform's uniform, right? But the way you can tell your personality is it zipped all the way up? Is it halfway down?
True.
All the way. That's what makes the officer.
Do you keep your sleeves rolled up the whole time?
That's right.
Yeah, and like I remember also in when Worf, the Way of the Warrior, when he comes on, and now he has a huge change because he goes from the gold chest to the red shoulders, but he looks good, and I think it also feels more like a uniform in the fact that, I mean, not that the TNG ones aren't uniform, but like something about the dominant of the black, it's just one of those feelings that it's just like, okay, we're all wearing the same thing. Like if all the Starfleet personnel filter into a room, it feels like, oh my gosh, these are all people, that are meant to, represent each other.
Right. And I think the combat is kind of weird and the pips are kind of weird, but like it's a utilitarian uniform, and I'm sure that's the point.
It is.
Because with classic TNG, at its most basic, it's basically like you're wearing a sweatshirt. You're wearing just a colored sweatshirt. And it's like, well, that's not really a uniform, but like jumpsuit, yeah, that's what Air Force wears. I'm sure that's what some sailors wear in the Navy. As a mechanic, sometimes I wore that in the Army, but I mean, it's sort of rare on occasions. But yeah, like a jumpsuit, that's a for real utilitarian uniform. It can, but it was funny because, like you said, Darren, when, and I don't know if this is really consistent, but when Cisco went to Earth in Paradise Lost, didn't he go back to TNG uniform?
Yes, I think.
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Yeah. So there's still, and I don't know if that's really consistent because I feel like everyone had changed by then, so it's kind of weird to go back and say, but the visualness of it was the appropriateness. But yeah, no, I do like. In conclusion, I do like the DS9 jumpsuit.
Now, what about you, Daniel? What do you think of the jumpsuit / we could even go into Voyager if you wanted, because they do keep the same suit.
I like it. It seems
okay. Moving on. So
hang on. It seems easy and boring. A little boring to me. It doesn't bother me in any way. I do generally prefer it, but it seemed to be the kind of this most simplest way to do what they were going for with the utilitarianism and stuff like that. It just it's so plain, I guess. There's no flair to it at all. Although I guess the little bit of color on the under uniform is nice. It just feels kind of meh. It's fine. I like it. I think it works really well, and especially for what they did with it. I guess I'll probably contradict myself once we get to.
Now I guess because you were going, Darren, in actual order, we haven't talked Enterprise, and I guess obviously not now is not the appropriate time. But that's just sort of a retro in world, or Enterprise is a retro of outside world of the Voyager Deep Space Nine uniform, because you're almost wearing the same underoos, right? I mean, it's a different shade of blue, but instead of a collar, you would have the tank top.
Right.
And like I'm trying to remember. Did we ever see anyone? I'm not trying to get risque here. Did we ever see anyone stripped down in Voyager DS9? Like, do they have like the blue? Does that go all the way? Like, are you wearing the blue shorts like they do in Enterprise? But anyway,
I don't think so. Mm-hmm. There's no decon chamber on the station, so
too bad.
I don't think that was written in.
One thing I did want to talk about. Philip mentioned it, but I wanted to actually get into it. How do you guys feel about the transition of the comm badge?
I liked it.
From the circle to the double bar.
Yeah,
I liked it. I like my preference again. Even though I'm a TNG diehard, and you think I'd love the circle one, but if I had to choose which one to wear, I'd wear the other one, the horizontal.
Yeah, it's cleaner, right? It's much
less fat. This bulging thing on your chest, a little bit more smoother and.
Yeah, I do prefer the new one. It's another thing that was never addressed, which is not a huge deal, but I wish it was. Just be like,
It's also the fact that we see that one, like Philip was saying, in several different series. I mean, we see it in all of Voyager, all of Deep Space Nine, and in all of the TNG movies, post Generations.
Yeah.
So
No, we see it in Generations.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
In Generations too, you're right. So it's more. It's the most prevalent comm badge, even though the TNG one was first.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, well, moving past jumpsuits, as fun as they are, there's what's the word? There comes along a special uniform every now and then. But now next on our timeline is we have the First Contact / Deep Space Nine. So I believe obviously they were first seen in Deep Space in First Contact. Nope. And these are, I guess we just call them the First Contact ones. So they have the gray shoulder.
Now hold on. Are they? Because I think this is another time where it's actual material versus screen what you see, because it sometimes looks purple to me.
I'd say it's got a slight purple tint.
But I'm looking
it does have a
I
little
have
bit.
my Star Trek toys on the shelf, of course, that I'm looking at right now. It's Chief O'Brien, Cisco, and Worf in their thing. And to me, the toy looks gray. But when I see it on screen, I'm like, I want it to be purple.
Yeah. It's but yeah, I think exactly. It's one of those things where maybe the fabric is gray, but on camera it looks purple. Mm-hmm. I think it's definitely one of those instances. So they have the very deep shoulder. It goes down very far. They also have, so now the color is contained in the undershirt, so it's just the collar. And they also have a cuff around their sleeve that has the color. So the color's getting even more sucked out of the uniform. Which is appropriate for First Contact, I will say that. Yeah, I mean they look sharp, they really do, and eventually we have like the vest that Picard wears, which looks awesome, and again you can tell you get a little bit of zipper action of how intense you are. There is the unfortunate episode or two where Cisco wears his comm badge on top of the gray. Oh god, nothing bothers me more. Oh looks my really bad. God, it drives me insane. I don't understand. Okay, I don't understand because these people have been making Star Trek for decades at this point, and I don't understand, or I should say over a decade at this point, and I do not understand how nobody on that set, nobody, the writers, the director, anybody, the actors even, they've been doing this for 4 years at this point. Who thought it was a good idea to put that stupid comm badge? Oh my god, I hate that. God, sorry, that's one of my pet peeves of all of Star Trek. Well, it's also the fact that, I mean, his comes down further, it seems. I don't know if like his do come down. I mean, on women it's a little bit higher on the shoulder because they're not as broad shoulder.
Well, I think other reasons too.
The other thing though that, like you were saying though, Daniel, is, I mean, I've seen pictures of screen used costumes, and they have a black square of Velcro, so there's no other place to put it. It's literally sewn into the uniform. So unless they were shifted to magnets or something, I don't know how he even put his comm badge up there, because technically there should be nothing to attach it to. I don't know. I just wish it never happened because it drives me nuts and I hate it.
Now what are you talking about? Remind me.
There's times in Deep Space Nine where Cisco wears his comm badge on the gray part of his uniform.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not many.
I don't think I've noticed.
Oh God, it sticks like that's all I can see.
Deep Space Nine.
It's like literally. We gotta find a screen cap.
Yeah, I'll show.
It's gonna be the background image. I guarantee it's gonna be the background image of this show.
Which is funny because if I had a child during that time, when you had a birthday party. Yeah, you could play. Oh, there it is. You could play pin the comm badge on the uniform. I think that would be a good game to play.
Here. But yeah, exactly. So it in that one slip through, it does look atrocious, which is amazing that such a tiny detail can make it or break it.
It's like you can do any area in the black. And it could be even on the wrong side in the black. It'll look fine. You touch the gray, it's like hot lava.
I don't know. That's the thing. And I kind of remember this happening, although this is probably not right. But I do, if I mean, imagine if you're just watching an episode of Star Trek, like the 4th episode of Star Trek Discovery, and all of a sudden one character has the comm badge on the wrong side of the uniform.
Oh my gosh,
it would
people
stick out to you so
Well,
bad. Like you'd be like,
well, it's like anytime someone takes an image and flips it,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's totally fine." It's like, no, there's
it's
many things in Star Trek that are not symmetrical. You can't do that.
Now, obviously, there's some left-handed discrimination that I could talk about, but I'll leave it alone.
you see, in the 24th century, Philip, they don't care about left-handed people.
No, everyone is right-handed in the 24th.
Well, humans are. I will say a character who is left-handed, and you see them slapping the comm badge on the left hand, which is awkward, but they do it, and that is Neelix.
He's not the only one. I can almost certainly remember a lot of people doing that, but I can't picture.
Oh, you mean how like he slaps it with his left hand?
Yep.
Why does Neelix have a comm badge anyway?
It's a deeper question for another
It's a
podcast.
universal translator. We've already been over this.
Oh,
we did a whole episode about this.
But I do like, and again, it's a more, and this is probably duh, but I'll say it anyway. But the First Contact ones, it's more militaristic looking, which given First Contact and DS9 Dominion War, is appropriate. It's a little, well, intimidating is maybe not the right word, but I'll say it, intimidating, because everyone's more uniform. They're more literally washed out. It's black and gray. You don't have the bright colors of which is a little more welcoming, You just have to, and even the undershirts are a dark hue for the most part. It's a dark red. Is it a teal or it's a dark blue, right? I mean, you don't really see teal undershirts, do you? It's more of a dark blue, and then even the operations is sort of a dark yellow, so it's all very dark.
Hold on, I have to look it up because if I remember, it's actually more of a greenish than a blue. No, it's definitely it's like a darker teal than what we see earlier on, but it's more green than blue. Not more green than blue. It is like, think of the Doctor's uniform in, the Doctor.
In First Contact?
In Voyager.
From Voyager. It's the same, it's that same color.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it as well. I mean, it's
I'm trying to remember.
Clean.
Does it come two ways, or am I just, because in other words, is it a jumpsuit too, or is there a variety? Is there a jumpsuit and a two-piece?
I think there's eventually two-piece, because there are definitely times when they take off like the jacket, which is the top, and they're not slipping out of it like a. But I feel maybe more like the operations crew have it as a jumpsuit. Definitely, like the women have it as.
I was
a
about to say that was
lot.
to be my concern, that it's gender based, that only women get jumpsuits. You don't have any two-piece for the women.
Let's assume that technology, that clothing technology has advanced to the point where you can remove a piece of your clothing and then it fuses to something else that you're wearing or something.
Because I think of, and I know this is jumping back a uniform, but like Contagion, that's not the name of it, is it? That's a TOS episode. But anyway, the Voyager episode where Janeway's all die hard. Macrocosm. She takes off her top, which is weird because that's a jumpsuit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like whatever the plot needs is what it becomes. But
I think too.
That shows actually going back to how hot they keep that thing. In that scene, we actually do see her strip down because she takes off her undershirt and she's wearing a tank top underneath that. So she has.
You're right.
So she's wearing a blue tank
layers.
top. Then her blue undershirt, then her top over that. So
but you remember this episode really well, Philip.
it's Sweaty Janeway. I remember that one. Trust me.
It's cold in space, Philip. So, I just wanted to also talk about. I don't know if you were planning on it, Darren, or not, but the First Contact. Oh, before I actually get into that, I just also wanted to mention that Philip was talking about it's appropriate that all the color's gone, and for First Contact and the Dominion War and stuff, the bridge is much more colorful on the E. I don't know if this was conscious choice or not, but the backdrop is usually much more has the color as opposed to TNG, where it's much more blah on the background. I don't think it's specifically why they designed these uniforms like this, but it is noticeable because there's all the deep reds and there's blacks and even the browns are a little more poppy than on the actual show.
I agree and disagree. I mean, because I agree that it's still dark. I mean, it's still a darker hue, but I do like because the L cars pops a lot more in that because the yellows and the oranges that they're using for that, and even they even throw in some weird colors on that L cars. Like there's some purple, random, red. They do go a little crazy with some of those colors. It's not just yellow and orange.
Well, those
blue,
consoles are very configurable.
Yes,
I don't know if they're totally customizable. I don't know if you know this or not. But, and not to hijack, but the only other thing I wanted to mention was the dress uniforms.
Yes,
from the First Contact.
I like the dress uniforms a lot. It reminds me in the Army. Now I'm not in anymore
because they actually look different. Like they look really different from what their standard day is.
Mm-hmm. Well, both of them are. I mean, all of them because they're that white. And in the Army, I don't know if they still do it because I've been out, but they have what's called a dress mess uniform, which is very rare because it's only for senior commanders. So like lieutenant colonels, and up. They actually have a white top uniform. It's called a dress mess that kind of looks like that Picard uniform. Well, all of them are white now.
Well, don't forget the headdress. I mean, that was also very important in that time.
But I do like the captain gets his own kind of version of the dress uniform, and then everyone else's looks the same. So
yeah, he's the captain. Yeah, no, that is a really good. That's a nice dress uniform. No, it looks good.
And the admiral gets the belt, and this.
Well, belts and admiralty have always gone well together.
Well, and they also get more of the. I don't know what you call it. The untucked top, like they're wearing more of a. I don't know what you call it.
Like a tunic.
Yeah. So.
Well, another variant, since we're talking variants now, there's the racing uniform from Voyager.
Oh, jeez.
So it's like, we know you guys really like the colored shoulders, so we're going to make them white and put a strip down the middle. I mean, it's different. It's not terrible.
What do you guys think? Because I think they should. But what do you think of Voyager after they contacted Earth, after not changing? I think they should have. I really think they should have changed uniforms. But what do you all think?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I think they should have, or at least the Doctor. Heck, it's a freaking program.
Mm-hmm.
Just push a button and he should.
It was a clear budget.
Oh
issue.
Yeah, it's obviously a budget.
Which to me, I don't know, Deep Space Nine wasn't running anymore. Could he just all right, whose size is what? You're close enough. Mulgrew, you're wearing Bashir's now.
No, I do. I wish that they did. There's no reason not to at that point. It's like, it's too bad. It would have been cool to see those characters with. Did we ever? I mean, we saw Janeway as an admiral, so we saw her with the gray shoulders. Didn't we see Seven with the gray shoulder uniform?
We saw Seven with a blue shoulder in the Time one where she's jumping.
Yeah, I remember.
Now we didn't see the Doctor, but we have seen Doctor or the EMH in the First Contact, literally.
We have seen Contact.
But anyway,
I swore I'd never use one of these things. Which is interesting because that's kind of like the example where you're looking at it and you're like, okay, this is obviously the Doctor, but it's because of the different uniform, it's a little jarring.
Mm-hmm. Now, but and I don't know where we go next in time. Are we going to talk about the future uniforms?
Why don't we wrap up Enterprise? Because I mean, there's not a ton to talk about. Because it's, I mean, we get pockets. We really like pockets in Enterprise.
Lots of pockets.
Lots of pockets.
Well, and they have a desert uniform. I just finished watching.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of it, but they were going to a desert planet, and it was sort of the tan jumpsuit or variant uniform.
Right. So this is the purplish, again, Star Trek's love of colors that aren't purple or blue. It's like, I mean, it's obviously purple, but we get, the notch shoulders. We're not going to fill them in. That'd be too similar, but it's a little too little for me. I mean, the red kind of disappears and the blue kind of, literally the gold is the only thing that really shows up on that purple. At least in my view, I feel the red is not bright enough. It's a darker red, And the blue, same thing. It's a very dark blue, and so they really don't pop at all. It's just
you
the,
definitely
the
lose
gold.
the blue.
Yeah, the blue almost vanishes.
No, they do. What do you call that? Those aren't pips. I don't know what.
No, they're pips.
Well,
they're just.
I mean, they're not round. They're
but they're square pips,
and they're also sewn in.
They're squips.
I mean, they're sewn in though, so like.
Stop trying to make squips happen, Danny. It's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna go with squips. I'm taking it. So they're squips, but like they're sewn in. So like I feel like whenever you promote or on the rare occasion demote, it's kind of like, anyone have any scissors? I need to.
Yeah, the only problem with those is that there's no like half. So it's like you either have 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Oh, you're right. I'm
There's
trying
no
to think.
alternate color.
What does like
So it's like
lieutenant, junior,
commander, lieutenant, ensign, and captain. That's it. That's all only ranks we see.
I have to pay attention because I'm sure that's not true. I mean, I'm not saying it, but I'm sure they had to choose. Well, you do actually have crewmen or enlisted rank. It's noticeable.
True.
It's very noticeable because it's right there. But they actually do, because like crewmen.
And you have the Makos.
Yep. But and of course with Enterprise, they do have the different patches for the different ships. So you have your Enterprise, you have your Columbia. So it's sort of like, and I'm not telling anything you don't know, Darren, especially as much as you do it. Sort of the throwback to the NASA and all that.
Oh yeah, it's very NASA heavy, which is fine. I mean, it is a nice uniform and
Jumpsuit.
And I mean, they have the colors. I just would have liked a little more color.
I
than what we
like
get
it
on the
because it's
shoulder.
at least blue and not black, not all black.
Right.
You know, the black is the undershirt.
True.
The black is
True.
the complementary color in this situation.
I'm trying. You're right.
I also think it's kind of important to note now, especially where we are here, that I would say Discovery is borrowing very heavily in a lot of ways from this uniform. So, I mean, it's borrowing a little heavier from JJ, but it's still a spectrum at this point, and this is before, even though it's only 3 or 4 years for whatever reason before TOS, it's cool. It makes sense if we're going from Enterprise to Discovery. It's a really cool transition. I think that was really, or who knows, they may change it, but it's really well done, at least as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
Yes. No. And this is very easy for us to digest because a friend of the network, Aaron Harvey, actually designed a really nice infographic on the Star Trek Discovery uniforms, which I will post for you two in the chat. And now, I think the biggest thing is we love our patterns and our textures. Just like JJ Prize, we get the Delta Shield patterns along kind of the sides. And it's you have kind of the gold braiding. The biggest change I see is we are now in the Olympics. It is now gold, silver, and bronze as opposed to red, gold, and blue. So that's a bit of a change. We're going into like the metal look, which
it's really subtle. Almost
it is
too
really subtle. Yeah, like the silver and gold, like you can chill, but like the bronze and gold is harder. I mean, I haven't seen too much on footage yet, but
I don't know. Look, I don't. It's too easy to be like, oh, it's something from Discovery. But no, I mean, I'm just saying for the uniform, it seems needlessly complicated. By the way, I mean, I do like that it is a nice evolution from Enterprise, and you can tell that. But I don't know. It's almost a very formal uniform. It's almost a dress uniform.
It does.
To tell you the
Yeah.
truth.
Well, it feels like an earlier version of the Monster Maroons to me in a lot of ways.
Especially that high collar.
The
high collar.
collar, it's super
on one
Comfortable.
side.
I as a person who'd have to wear that, I'd be like, ugh.
It's super simple. It's everybody is now distilled down to one very major color and then just highlights at that point. And it looks heavy, like really heavy. So it feels a lot like the Monster Maroons in a lot of ways. I'm sure they're kind of calling back to it, but with a much better color.
I wonder what they're wearing. I mean, this is Me. I wonder what they're wearing underneath.
What are they wearing underneath?
Yeah, what are they wearing
well,
underneath?
Well, it's obviously a jacket with that zipper in the front, so I'm sure we'll get scenes where they,
high
have
stress,
the jacket off.
unzip, half zip.
And then are they gonna? Oh man, we're gonna lose our minds if we're watching and they see someone take off the jacket and we see them move their badge from the outer to the inner. We're gonna lose our minds, Philip. We've been waiting how many years for that?
Well, because it looks like that badge. It's not a badge. I don't know, emblem, insignia. Because it's rank.
It's a badge.
Okay,
yeah.
well, no, it looks like it's like sewn on. Like it's not. I mean, you know what I mean.
Philip,
It's
you have to get over this 21st century technology, man. It just sticks to whatever you put it to. You just take it off. You can put it on whatever else
you can take
you got.
that off though. But anyway, This is my biggest. Well, it's not a complaint. Whatever, I'll get over it. But rank is so friggin' hard on this thing. I mean, like Darren, your combat that you love, the alternate 24th century one. I can get behind that. My embarrassing story.
You could spot it from like 50 yards away.
Yeah, but my embarrassing story that I never knew that until like 2 years ago when you told me about it. But that was rank. But I was like, oh, okay. But now that I know it, but like this discovery rank, like I need a magnifying glass on their breast to figure out what rank you are. I mean, it's like a pinprick. You're a cat. What is that?
Well, unfortunately, because the only thing that stands out against the metallic surface is the dark dots.
Yeah.
So, like the captain, all 4 of those pips completely bleed away. We'll see again how much it looks on screen.
Yeah.
Screen use.
I mean,
again, we're having the gold and bronze and silver. Different versions. So,
as a broad concept, as a like zooming out, I do like the Discovery uniform. But when we start to get to the minutia, I'm like, ugh, it's really subtle and complicated at the same time.
We'll see. We'll see. I have those concerns as well. But on the other hand, I like they're taking this Star Trek idea. It's not a Star Trek idea, no, but they're taking a huge legacy of Star Trek uniforms and kind of trying to pay homage to a lot to what's become before, and then kind of do their own thing as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that's tremendously difficult. And guess what? I mean, guys, if we get 2-3 seasons, maybe their season 3 of TNG uniforms is going to come next year or whatever, and they're going to nail it, and then that's going to be the definitive, and it's going to be great and awesome and amazing. We don't know. So I'm okay with them kind of trying something new, and it doesn't bother me at all.
Well,
and you get like a tactical uniform, which has kind of
well, we know they have a desert
tag
uniform
armor
at
on
least,
it.
right?
Yeah.
So. I think that was. I don't know what that was. I mean, yeah, because they were sort of very native wear. I don't like. Is that just their desert uniform? Like
they were cosplaying Star Wars. It's totally fine.
Houdini.
But and I mean, so it's interesting. What's their dress uniform going to look like? I was trying to remember the Enterprise one because, like, it's funny in Enterprise they're still wearing ties, which I think is very funny. Because I know we get the formal wear in These Are the Voyages, but I don't know if we ever see it before that. Like we have the Admiral Forrest's uniform is sort of a variant. It's sort of
he actually wears a tie, but I do love love the dress uniform that Archer wears for his speech. I think it's it feels appropriate and it looks very nice. I really like it with the collar and the buttons that come up here. I really we only get to see it that one time, but I thought that was a really good dress uniform.
Right. And I mean, I think the Starfleet uniform for T'Pol is just, I mean, that's really what everyone should be wearing. You just throw some pips on a cat suit and you're like, oh, you're Starfleet. Like, don't I get a uniform? I mean, you're fine.
She's not
you're wearing.
Yeah.
No, she is at the end. I'm saying at the end.
Yeah.
Well, not even at the end. What is it? After season 3? I mean, it's 3 and 4. She's Starfleet, right? So.
Yeah, I think it's also going to be interesting because I feel that silver is going to be the most prominent color because it's technically the brightest, but silver is not, I mean, gold is the top, not rank.
I just want to say, like, looking at these uniforms, that every time I see this guy played by Doug Jones or whoever else is going to be a silver shirt, I guess is what, maybe silverbacks? I don't know. What are we going to call them?
Oh, is that really what we're calling science people, Daniel? Because it's not.
I was going to say.
You've lost your blue, Daniel.
No, because I'm going to redeem myself right now. All it reminds me of every time I look at it is Ravenclaw.
So,
so
Gryffindor is the gold, and
Yep.
then who's bronze? Because
Well, it's not Slytherin.
it's Hufflepuff.
So
It's got to be Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff.
poor engineering,
I guess the Klingons are the Slytherins.
Operations.
or the admirals,
Or the
if
admirals,
they're a
yeah,
different
yeah.
color.
Funny.
Yeah. So we'll see how that comes together, and I mean, I'm sure we'll get a bunch of different variety, and I mean, they look sharp, and I think it'll work well.
Well, I mean, to me, the coloring or the matte, I don't know what the right word is, of all of Discovery, of course, we've only seen trailers, but it has a JJ movie-esque color palette to it, which is darker, kind of like, I mean, a movie. I mean, all the TNG.
Right. It's more cinematically shot.
Yeah, but it's darker. And, I mean, everything to me is darker. And so that you don't see popping colors. It's sort of, which, I mean, I'm not saying this as the movies themselves, but as a concept, that just means like, oh, it's gritty, and like, roll my eyes. But it'll be interesting, their use of actual color, like literally something that's not dark gray, black, dark.
Right.
I want to see what shiny, happy color exists in that universe somewhere.
Well, and without all this gold braid and trim and extra, patterning, I mean, these would look very similar to the Star Trek 2009, USS Kelvin uniforms, which were feel like they're almost the same blue.
Yeah, it's interesting because the JJ use of deltas is now being used in sort of the side,
right?
Whatever.
Get the patterning.
Yeah,
the underarm.
So, top 3 uniform choices, Darren.
Oh, I would have to go.
All right, time's up.
I think first contact I think is still number 1. It's really sharp. It looks good. If you put the comm badge in the right spot, it's amazing. If not, it's an abomination against man. Second favorite, I would say probably Monster Maroon. That's just that classic. It looks good. And third, I would almost say like Star Trek Beyond Field Jacket. Like that they looked really they did a lot of good uniform stuff with Beyond. You had just the whole patterning, like it's like it's the same color and cut of TOS, but it's as if now you're watching it in HD and everything's sharper. Like you could almost imagine that patterning was there, you just couldn't see it because of the resolution of the time. So I'd say those are my top 3.
What are your top 3, Daniel?
But Discovery's warming on me, so
I am very excited about what Discovery does with their uniforms. It's actually one of the things I don't like the ship design. I'm very excited about the costume design. So I hope they do some really fun and inventive stuff. I'm very much looking forward to Discovery dress uniforms, because dress uniforms tend to be fun and unique and interesting. So we'll see. As far as my top 3. I'm going to have to give it to First Contact for number 1 for, I mean, pretty obvious reasons. It's kind of, it's pretty quintessential Star Trek at this point.
Now, when you're wearing it, Daniel, are you going to wear your vest also underneath it as well?
No, too hot.
with an extra comm badge just in case.
Number 2, I'm going to give to 2009. Just the standard 2009 uniform, because it is essentially the same as TOS, but obviously updated. The patterning, the texture of the actual,
just the cut of it feels
the
sharper.
cut feels way better, because the cut in the in TOS it's like everything is so like high, around the waist. It's like, I don't know, it's weird, but I like the uniform because of its simplicity, but I really like the Abrams version better for a lot of different reasons, and I think it just looks sharper. And but it's a really nice uniform, so I really like it a lot. And then I guess number 3, I'm gonna have to go with season 3 on in TNG. It's
collared TNG.
Yeah, pop your collar.
It's classic. I don't know that we'd ever see it again, but it worked for the time, and lots of warm and fuzzies for that one.
No, do you want the captain overcoat jacket?
I want it, yes. And I like that it's just, again, it's the same kind of thing with TOS where Kirk had his own thing. It was just like,
right, captain's jacket.
It's like their prerogative. Like, yeah, I have my own casual uniform that I can wear on maybe not so serious adventures. When I go out, you know what it is? It's the captain's yacht jacket, because that's why we don't see it very often. He gets
it's permanently stocked in the captain's yacht closet. There's just 5 of them right there.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yep.
5.
And I really love
and
that.
then his bathing suit and
the shiny bathing suit.
There's only so much. There's only so much room in the captain's yacht. You mean you got to make choices, Daniel?
Yeah, but honestly, it's just that uniform is, it's so good and so classic Star Trek to me at this point. But yeah, that would be my top 3. What about you, Philip?
I mean, I hate to join the bandwagon, but First Contact. And I don't know, I've never, and I'm sure I've said this a million times, I'll say it again, I've never seen a commercial version of that I've liked. Because...
No, they all look cheap.
Yeah. I think the problem with that uniform is it is very heavy looking. Like, to me, I want it to be thick. Like, it should be thick material. Like, it's almost like 3 blankets together. Like, it's that thick when you see it on screen. So, I'm sure it may not be that comfortable to wear, but... It'd have to be a thick material. So if you see anything thinner than that, it's automatically like, ugh, nope. And so I do like it for that reason. My second one, like I said, even though it's kind of maybe the plain Jane at this point, I do like the Voyager /DS9 /Generations uniform. I mean, I have the one I have, but obviously I'd prefer to have one that's more of a jumpsuit. Because they'd be very comfortable to wear. Jumpsuits are very comfortable to wear. Because you're just wearing, just put shorts on underneath, and then all you're wearing is the undershirt on top of that, and then just get into the jumpsuit, and you're comfortable, except for boots, I suppose. So I like that one. My third pick is one we didn't talk about that I did briefly mention, so I'll briefly mention again, is the alternate future. Well, I don't know if I call it alternate. I think maybe it's been established future uniform, where it's the full colored body top. We're back to that. That you see in All Good Things, that you see in the DS9 future episodes, that you, I think maybe
it's like a combination of the Monster Maroons and like the
TOS.
Discovery uniforms or the TOS. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so, I think maybe there's even some Voyager variants. For some reason, I see Kim wearing a gold, but I may be making that up in my head. But anyway, I do like that because I do like the full color. But like you said, there are some very militaristic portions of it, of having I believe the pips are still on your chest, I believe. I may be wrong. You have that other Starfleet variant logo comm badge. It's a little different looking because you have sort of like the cross bars, or this, whatever. They're now vertical bars instead of horizontal. So it's different looking. I like that. It challenges you when you look at it. So that, there was a time when I played Star Trek Online, I chose that for all my characters, that sort of future uniforms. That would be my third favorite. And that has some piping that you would like, Daniel, that you talked about before.
Well, Star Trek does have quite a heritage of uniforms, and I think I speak for all of us when I say we're looking forward to what Discovery brings to the table, and it's been fun looking back over just... uniforms are so important, especially in this peacekeeping armada that's not the military. And I think, we have our favorites. What are some of your favorites? Definitely tweet us at Join Nerd Party, or, go fill out the contact form at thenerdparty.com, because we would love to hear more people like First Contact, or is there something else that we haven't mentioned that you think just takes the cake? Or are you unhappy that Star Trek Discovery is moving towards the Olympic system? Let us know.
Now, there was a uniform cake. It did have a Troy face in it, but...
I wouldn't exactly call that a variant, but maybe so. Now, next week, what are we talking about, Daniel? And will it be controversial? Because only the best things are.
It will be, but it will also be a surprise, as usual, because that's how I roll.
Okay. Well, if someone wanted to talk to you, Daniel, to try to find out what that surprise was, where would they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at OneUpDan. That's the number one, not the word, as in you only get one guess.
And Philip, if someone wanted to talk to you about comm badge placement, where could they find you?
They can find me at Twitter at NC Public Servant.
That means NC for not on the collar, because if you put the comm badge up that high,
God, no,
doesn't
no.
work.
I'm someone. I even as a kid when I cannot do turtleneck, so I don't want anything near my neck at any time. So
you need room for that chest hair to breathe, Philip. And if someone wanted to talk to me about uniforms, maybe even in other sci-fi universes, they can find me on Twitter under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DRSCIFI. Well, I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
Stranded here on City Alpha 3.
Come!